3rd.
Thank you, Chairman Hansen. The first speaker is Inez Rahman. Please state your name for the record so I can swear you in.
Anis Rahman.
Anis Rahman, thank you. Please raise your right hand and respond, I do. I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how to turn my video on here.
You do not have video options.
Okay, all right, no problem, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Hansen and Planning and Zoning Committee. My name is Anis Rahman. My family and I have lived in Naperville for 20 years and have been members of the Islamic Center of Naperville for 20 years. I'm a past board member of ICN. I'm the current chairman of the ICN Engineering and Construction Committee, and I'm a licensed professional engineer in over a dozen states, including Illinois. I have also led all major engineering and construction projects at ICN, including the current 248 project. Our search for the perfect property to build our new mosque facility started 15 to 20 years ago. We had 3 primary goals. Goal number 1, to find a location that is large enough to serve the needs of our growing Naperville Muslim community. Luckily, we were looking for a minimum of 10 acres, and this location is 13 acres. Goal number 1 was met. Goal number 2 was to find a location that was properly zoned. Luckily, we didn't have to worry about zoning issues because this location had been zoned R1 and designated for religious facilities since 1998, for over 23 years. And it was previously owned by a religious organization, Hope United Church of Christ. Goal number 2 was met. And goal number 3 was to find a location where traffic, safety, security, and parking will not impact our neighbors in a negative manner. Luckily, being on the main road and not connected directly into the subdivisions, that provided for the safety and security of our neighbors. Our community members didn't have to drive through subdivisions to get to our facility, and we had plenty of on-site parking where there's no need to park on the streets. Goal number 3 was met. This property on 248 fit our needs 100%, and we consider this property the perfect property for ICN and for our neighbors. Now, I want to take a moment to thank the City of Naperville engineering staff. When we started our preliminary design, we met with the city staff multiple times to understand the city requirements and recommendations. The staff was truly a partner with ICN. They, along with our engineering team, guided ICN through zoning rules and regulations. For example, when we first designed the school building, it was 3 stories tall. The city staff immediately informed us that that violates the R1 zoning height requirements and we would have to get a variance. What did ICN do? We changed our design and brought the height of the school building under the zoning height requirements. It was truly great teamwork. After multiple meetings with the staff, our master plan was finally ready to share with others. When our master plan was finally developed, ICN proactively reached out to the Tallgrass Homeowners Association and requested a coordination meeting. That was even before COVID. We had an excellent meeting at the Tallgrass Clubhouse, and technical questions were asked and answered. We even had a follow-up virtual meeting and email exchanges during COVID. When we noticed that some items were misunderstood and sent out to the Tallgrass community by the HOA, we reached out to them and asked for corrections. These items have already been highlighted in Attorney Munson's presentation a few weeks ago. In a similar fashion, ICN proactively reached out to the Ashwood Point Homeowners Association and requested a meeting. Due to COVID, the meeting was virtual, and some excellent questions were asked and answered, followed up by additional questions and answers via email. ICN also proactively reached out to the Pencross Knoll HOA and requested a meeting. They were planning on scheduling a meeting after the holidays. We hope to meet with them soon. The questions raised during these meetings were technical in nature, and ICN was very happy to address them. Here are 6 quick examples of questions that came up during our HOA discussions. Question number 1, how tall is the building? The building is 29 feet tall, which meets the city standards in R1 zoning. And that happens to be 6 feet lower than the height requirements for homes and buildings in R1 zoning areas. Question number 2, will there be a privacy issue due to the height of the minaret? Absolutely not. There are no stairs or elevators to the top of the minaret. There's no way for anyone to get to the top of the minaret and peek into your homes or into your yards. Question number 3, will the call to prayer be made outside? Absolutely not. ICN has been in Naperville since 1991, and we have never made the call to prayer outside. Question number 4, will there be a privacy fence? Yes, there will be a privacy fence and landscaping buffers between our property and the neighboring homes. Question number 5, will your project cause our basements to flood? No, it will not. Our property will have its own stormwater detention facility. In fact, it will improve the drainage system in the area. And question number 6, will there be traffic issues on 248? No, we don't believe there will be traffic problems caused by our project. Both the City of Naperville and professional traffic engineers reviewed the impacts, and a detailed traffic study was completed. The city even required ICN to build a left turn lane on 248 and a second south entrance to ensure no traffic backup. That cost ICN approximately $250,000, but we agreed to both items. And don't forget, the city has been planning a 248 widening project for many years, and it's expected to start in 2023 or 2024. Once again, no traffic problems. So in general, I felt our meetings with the HOAs went very well. However, there are still some misunderstandings and misinformation being spread regarding the project. I recently read an email where one person claimed that our building was 150 to 185 feet tall and 20 stories. As I mentioned earlier, the roof height is 29 feet tall and only 2 stories. I'm very tempted to list many more examples of misinformation being spread, but in the interest of time, I won't do that. I was also disappointed to read in a recent online posting that some of the opposition was saying, quote, local residents need your help getting the ICN project rejected, and that anyone in the world can oppose it. You know what? I'm all for my neighbors having concerns, but I have no idea why the opposition would be asking someone in some other part of the world to oppose our project. On the flip side, if you read the ICN website, we also ask for support, quote, from only those who live in the neighboring areas. Having said that, our invitation to open communications with our neighbors stands. We're open to meeting with individual community members or HOAs to discuss further. We will always strive to be good neighbors while always maintaining our rights. I would also like to remind everyone that the property has been zoned R1 and designated for religious use for over 23 years. From 1998 to 2011, Hope United Church of Christ owned the property, and ICN has owned the property since 2011. There's no surprises here. Nothing was hidden. Anyone who bought their homes in the neighborhood or near the neighborhood in the past 23 years should have done their homework and should have known that a church, a mosque, or other religious facility would be eventually built on this property. I know there will be many comments today regarding zoning, traffic, parking, and other items. The good news is that the professionals from the city, the traffic study engineer, Michael Worthman, and the civil engineer, Ed Seifert, are on the meeting today and are available to address any concerns or comments that come up. As I conclude, I'd like to remind everyone that the Planning and Zoning Commission is reviewing 3 main items in this process. Item number 1, they're reviewing our conditional use permit request, which reviews the building design, the parking, the traffic, the noise, the drainage, and many other factors. And they're also reviewing our variance for the setback and our variance for a fence request. It's important to note that after careful review of our plans, our studies, and our conditional use permit application, the planning and zoning staff is in support of all 3 items. The professionals have spoken. Our project meets all city zoning requirements. On behalf of ICN, I'd like to thank the engineering staff for their support and the Planning and Zoning Committee for their commitment to listening to the facts about our project. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. One quick comment I'd like to ask is if people, when they speak, could just let us know what city you live in. That is not a requirement, that's just a request. So if you don't want to, you don't have to, but it would be helpful for us.
So this is Anise again. I live in Naperville.